recap the last week work which we have done. Last week we have done two things, right? First, we have set up our MongoDB Atlas account. For that, you have to do registration first. Once you registered here, you will land in this page. Okay, and then you have to create your cluster. To create a cluster, you have to click here on create. Then you have to provide the details. Okay, you have to select this shared option, and then select any zone region. Generally, I am from India. I will select an Indian region. If you are from other place, you have to select those region. Um, why we select the region where we are near to that place? Because the distance also matter. Okay, if your server are far away from our place, then the request and response time of the API might take more time. Nearer to our place where the software is going to be used, faster it would be. Okay, so distance also plays some role. And then we have to I mean, this thing will be auto populated. We have to create the cluster. Since I already have a free cluster, it will not allow me to create. But for other person who did not created the cluster, they have to come here, just select this shared person, any service provider, I and then the region where you are. Okay, once you create the cluster, if you don't have any a user, what it will do, it will put you to this page. Okay, it will put you to this page, and then here you create a user. Remember it user ID and password. Okay, remember the user ID and password, because this user ID and password you will need when you try to connect it with the MongoDB. Then what we have done, we have whitelisted our network. To whitelist our network, we have to click the network access, and unless we whitelisted it, then we cannot use this service of this Mongo Atlas from outside world. Okay, so if we have to, if we want to get do the connections from outside world, we have to add our IP here. So there are two things. One is, let me delete everything. Okay, so it allow, I would say, three option. One is we can add manually the IP address if we know. Second, I can add the current IP, and third, I allow uh, to use this service from anywhere of the world, from anywhere, from any person computer. So what I did, I use my current IP, and then I do confirm, and then our I mean, we can able to connect uh, into this MongoDB Atlas from this IP. So till this portion, anybody have any question? He or she can raise their hand. Yeah, I think Kastav has raised. Yeah, Kastav, tell me. I think he might. Okay. Now let's go to the coding part. In coding, I have shown you like how we can interact using the API. Okay. For that, I have created this server.js file, and here you can see I have uh, created 5 service, right? First is to how can we add any user. For that, what we have done, I have created the schema portion. For that, you can for details you can go to the videos. And then what I have done, since in my schema I have two objects, one is name and second one is age. So what I am doing, I am reading the value from the request which I am sending from the client. Okay, and then I am creating this JSON and adding it into the model, and this is the way where I can save our data into MongoDB. So I have done that, and in this way we can save our data into database. Okay, I think everybody have told like he and she had able to uh, Yeah, customer, we can use anyone. Okay, no restriction for that. So in this way, we can save the data. Okay, since MongoDB, I mean understand the JSON format. So if we have to send a data in a JSON format, okay, and they will store it in that. I think they store in a JSON format, which is similar to JSON. Okay, and this API, second API, are to get user, whichever which are there in our database. Okay, so the find methods, through find method, we can get data from the database, and here in this, inside it, we pass two things. First is the condition. uh, first is the condition, and second is uh, some kind of option, like what fields we want to show, like if there are 10 fields, if you want to, if you want to read only two fields, then those fields value, or if we don't want to uh, read any field out of the 10 field, then we can pass those options here. I will explain you later on. Okay, so this is the API through which we can read all user. Now, some of you have told, like you have find problem when you use the third API, right? When you are fetching a particular user, or when you are updating or deleting a particular user. This See this thing carefully. What I have done, this is my route name slash user, and then this is the parameter params. I mean, we are sending the user ID in the params. Okay, so how it will look like, if we add any user. Okay, first, what I'm doing, I'm adding any user, uh class 2. Okay, and if I just simply add it. Okay, now it's giving some error. What error? I think I haven't started it. Okay, let me start my server. And okay, we have started our server, and then what happened? Cannot post add users. Why? Okay, let me see the code. Okay, it is a add underscore user. Okay, you can see I have add this class 2 user, right? And if I go to MongoDB, if I go to MongoDB, and then if I go to our database, if I browse our collection, inside user collection, I can see two users. One is Firdous and second is class 2. Okay. Now, what we will use, mean, if we want to add, update, or delete, since we are not using any specifier like email ID, username, those kind of thing, we will use this ID only, if we want to fetch a particular user, or if you want to update the details, or if you want to delete it, because this ID will always be a unique one. Okay, so since we haven't created any unique ID, or unique key in our schema, so we can use this ID. So by default, or every entry of a MongoDB will create a unique ID, or a unique object ID. Okay, which contain some details. So we have added it. Now the second question was, how you could able to uh, get a particular user. First, let me show you how we can get all users. Okay, so this users API, through this users API, I can get all user. Let me, yeah, if we hit this, you can see I can fetch two users, right? And these two users are present in our database. Now the third API which I have created was to create was to fetch a particular user. Now if you see the route, what it has one uh, hard-coded data, hard-coded name, that is user, and then I have added a colon here. Okay, so if you add a colon in your route, it means it's a dynamic data. Okay, it can be anything. It will be a dynamic data, and what I am doing, I am reading it through params. Now if you see the earlier case where we were saving, we were making a post call, and in order to fetch the data for the post call, we use request dot body. Okay, second way is, in the second case, what we are doing, we are uh, passing it as a params parameter. Okay, as a params or as a URL, which is a kind of a dynamic one. Okay, so here we are passing this ID, right? And if you check, if you check here, what I did, i I compare it with underscore ID. It's mean we are passing the ID of a user, underscore ID of a user, right? So from this, so if you want to fetch any user details, like I have two users, okay, if I want to fetch this class 2 user details only, then what I have to do, I have to copy the class 2 ID, and then on the third API, see, on this API I have to pass this ID. Okay, so what API will do, what API will do, it will read this whatever thing we are passing in the params with the name user ID, which I mentioned here. So it will read it and treat it as an ID, right? And then compare it with the IDs, underscore ID, which are present in our database. So since I use the second one, and if I hit it, I can get the detail of the second user ID, right? Similar to that, if you want to fetch the details of first user ID, I have to pass the first user ID in params, and then we can get it. Okay. Another way where we can send data from UI is through query. Okay. So in this way, you can also send your data. Okay, so you might have seen in get URL we have some question mark and then some name value pair. So if you send it like this, if you even if you go to some place, right, eh, some API, either they will use a params way, or they will use the query way. So if we sorry, if you send in this way, and if you want to read the data like what we are sending from here, that we can read it using, so I would say these are the three ways where we can send data from client to our server. Okay, first way is through post call or through body, where we send data uh, in our body. Okay, it is in our body in a raw format, then only we can read it in our server. Second method is through params, mean through generating a dynamic URL. Okay, so for that, if we send any data through params, we can read it using this params request.params dot whatever name which we have mentioned here, which we have mentioned in our dynamic URL. And the third way is uh, mean creating a static URL or a dynamic URL and giving a question mark with it. Okay. After question mark, whatever name we will give, it will read data from using that name only. So here you can see I have mentioned the query data in ID, and if I send data, hit the API in log, you can see this is the thing which are getting passed, right? And I have logged this, and this thing I'm reading from our uh, client side only, client side. So in this way we can easily read those those things. Now regarding the fourth API which we have created, let me, yeah, it was to update any particular URL. Okay. So if you can see the name, the name I have written wrong, like class spelling is not correct. Okay. So if you want to update that, then what we have to do, let us see the API. What I have done, I have to use this route, and then this ID should be the dynamic ID of that particular user which I have to update. Okay. And here I am sending in params, so to read it I am using like this. Okay. And then find one and update is a Mongoose a function through which we can find it. First parameters would be the search parameter, and second parameter would be the update updated data. Okay, the data which we want to update. Now let's see how we can update our data in database using this. So first thing, let me update that class one. Okay, this one. First thing, I have to pass my ID. Okay, which we want to update in the params, and then in body, I have to use the updated name. Okay. So if I do this thing and if I hit it, what will happen? See, I get a message user updated successfully. If I see the code, okay, user updated successfully happened when this thing get update successful. Okay, and if we check our database, like what happened right now, if I refresh it, we will see like class second one has been updated with this name. Okay, so from class 2 it has been updated to Mirza Firdaus Beg. Now the last one where we can delete the user, I am doing in the same way. We have to send the ID of a user which we want to delete in the params, and then to delete we have this function, I mean, of a mongoose, like delete one, and this is the ID which we are using here. Okay. So if I want to delete this user, okay, this user, what we have to do, we have to utilize this ID, then open our URL, pass this ID in params, and then just hit. I think it got deleted. Okay. And if I check our database, refresh it, see I have only one record, and through APIs also, if I hit it, see I can get this record. Okay. So from next time, if I use the same IP, same ID, next time if I use the same ID which I have used here, we will not get anything. Okay. Next time when I use the same ID to fetch it or delete it or update it, it will not give any details, right? It will not give any details because this ID has been removed from our database. So this was the last class. Anybody have any questions? He or she can please go on. Muskan has raised the hand. Yeah, Muskan, any question from
Yeah.
your end?
Actually, I'm not able to get the users. I'm getting Atlas error.
Okay, then check your atlas, like what problem you have. Okay, I mean, most probably go to network and then delete those ID and
Can I
add your
please share
current
my
IP.
screen?
Yeah,
Actually,
please
I
do
did
so.
this.
Yeah, please share your screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else have any question?
Sir,
Able to get uh, users.
Yeah, you are able to get the user, right?
Yeah,
No. Go to browse collection. Go down. So you don't have any connection right now, right? It's mean
uh, I have cluster 0
no
collection.
no no here you don't have any connection. This means you are not connecting to this server. Okay.
So how can I connect?
Okay. Click on dashboard. So the database. Click on database.
Database. Okay.
Yeah. Click on connect driver. Click on driver. Yeah. Yeah. You have to use this, right?
Yeah, I've used this.
Muskan. Your password should be
Same.
the password.
Yeah.
Okay. Do this Muskan 31 user are there. Go to security section. I would say database access. Go there. Update password. Don't use @ dot in password. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Um.
Yes. Sornali, what error you are facing?
Atlas error.
No. I'm talking about okay. Same thing.
Okay.
Same error, right? You both are facing same error.
Again.
Mm, go to uh, go to your code. Connection successfully. Okay, I will check this thing. I will check this thing and I will ping you. Okay, code 8000. It may be okay. Okay, Muskan, I will check later. Okay, I will ping here the solution. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
okay. So Muskan and Swapnil have been facing this Atlas error. Okay, and anybody else who could not able to do till what I have mentioned here.
sir, I am
Yeah.
sending a screenshot over there that whatever you have shown for the update user. Okay, the same
Okay.
methodology I have followed today morning, but it is showing that updated one record, the console log error. But during the time whenever I go to the Atlas, I found that the record is not updated.
Yeah, I have seen your code. You have been using hard coded ID there, right? If you update your ID uh with the dynamic one, the way I have used and the way I have shown in the post through Postman, you will not find any error. Okay, but still, can you share your screenshot of your code so
Yes.
that other can also able to relate. Okay, the next part, like the morning, can everyone paste what what should what kind of folder name, okay, should have in your projects. Okay, did anybody worked in any projects?
Yes.
Yeah, so what kind of structure, or what can you name some of the folders name that you see in your projects? Just type in the comments so that everybody can see.
Okay.
Model, controller, very good. Package.json, very good. Routes, good, nice. Utils, okay. Middleware, nice. Okay, I think you all have written everything, but missed one important, I would say, file or folder, that is .env. Okay. Mm. Any other name of a folder that you remember? View, yeah, that would be public. Okay. Any other folders? We can have some constant. Yeah, that will be inside public. We can have some notification kind of thing where we will send mail, push notification and everything. Okay, we got a good numbers of, I would say, let me share and let us create our project structure. Okay, so last time what we have done, we have I mean created everything inside a single page. Okay, but this page is not for coding. Okay, this page is for our uh, server, I mean to run the server and to have some middleware. Okay, other than server details and middle configurations and middleware, we don't need anything. Okay, so in this page we will have only two things, only middleware, and we can separate the middleware also, but if we have to add here, then this kind of middleware might be present in this page, and our uh, code to run server. Okay, nothing else. We don't need any connection here. We don't need any routes here. We don't need any logics here. We have to separate everything. Okay, we have to separate everything based on the folders. Why? Why we separate our code? Do you know? Like we can write everything inside a single page. That could be easy for me also, right? I don't have to remember anything. I will just go to that code and then do everything. But uh, why do we separate our code, and why it is very important for software development? Uh, you can give your comment here based on your knowledge, that why this is very important for your coding. Because if you don't do this thing properly, I think you will face a lots of issue uh, to your coding. Understanding the code, very good. If mean if anybody tell you to understand 1,000 line of code, that would be very difficult. But if anybody will tell you to understand 50 or 100 line of code, uh, it would be very simple, right? Yeah, good answer. Second, why we do code structuring in our application? Okay, one answer is understanding the code. Good. Second one is code collaboration. Okay. Code collaboration. Yeah. Third is, see, code collaboration mean uh, we can tell one person to work on this part. Like you will work on notification part, you will work on Excel generation part, you will work on PDF generation part, and I can work on different part, right? So in this way, we both can work together without stopping anyone. Okay. So so that's why code structuring is a very important thing. And if you don't do a proper code structuring, then what happen? Suppose Muskan is working on something and Kastav is working on something. Okay, they have same validation. Like if user uh, does not provide a username, he have to return like please enter the username. What Muskan did, he wrote please enter username, and what Kastav did, he returned uh, username not exist, and third person might do something else. In that way, the consistency of your application might not be there, right? If you go to any big code, you will find everything, they have everything consistent. So if we separate our code and then uh, utilize that code from different places, so in that way we will have a consistency in our code. So these are some reasons why we separate our code and do a code structuring. Okay. So what I will do, I will whatever thing we have think there, let's create those things. First, we will create a folder called public, where all public thing like image. Okay. If we are using our company logo, if we are using any image, if in our bill, if we are using any image in something in our mails and everything, so we will put it here. Second thing, we are using model, we will use controller. Controller is a place, sorry, it went inside. Yeah. So controller is a place where we write the logics. Okay. Like this kind of logic. If we are saving anything, then this logic should be inside our controller. Okay. Then validation. Somebody, many people separated and many people. Okay. Again, I did the same mistake. Yeah. Validation, where we will do the validation here. Whatever thing we are getting, we are simply saving it. But this would not be a case. First we have to validate our data, and then we will do the next thing. Okay, so we have a folder named as validation. Then we will have a folder called utils, where all our utility file would be will reside. Then we will have a folders called middleware, where our uh, middleware functionalities should be written, and one file called .env. Okay, yeah, I think these are anything else we need. I think we are done. Let me see the comments. Anything I had missed? Image we will put it
Can you
inside our, yeah.
can you once pause your screen so that I can actually there is the whole folder structure I could create this that,
Okay, okay.
that inside that public controller inside that public I create controller and inside that controller I create validation.
No. Everything will be outside. Okay.
Everything inside the public or public controller validation are separate.
Everything should be outside. Mean, let me show you like this. Okay.
Okay.
So controller, middleware, model, everything should be outside.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, and I think I have missed one routes. Okay.
Views folder.
See, we are just using these are the backend service, hence we are not using views. Okay. If we were using as a front end service, then we can use it. So for that we can, if we want to view anything, that we can put it inside public. Okay. In public we can have a many things, like here, or here we can have some HTML file. Okay. Oh, let it be in a small case. Images. Okay. Then utils we can have.
I think you have created them as files, not folders.
See what I will do. I will then once we will have this, I will push my code in GitHub. So from GitHub, everybody can easily uh, able to read it. Okay, and then we will have a 5 minute break. So once everybody will copy it properly, then we will restart it. Okay. So we will have this kind of structure. It can be more than this or it can be less than this. Okay, based on your projects. So just let me explain everything, like what we will put at what place. Okay, this env is a very important thing. Here we will